Ciao, Romanisti. I know it's been a tough week. That was a bad one. There's no other way to say it. Ultimately, it's one I think that puts things into perspective of Roma and says that things aren't where they need to be. They're not at the finish line. There's still so much more hard work to go, and that Mourinho still has a lot of work to do with this squad. So it doesn't negate everything that Roma has done. It doesn't push it away, and all of a sudden you go from here and drop down. No, it's steady, and sometimes success is not just a straight line, but like a stock, you know? And it's just something that really does take time. It's not just one season or even two seasons. In order to shift a mentality, it takes nothing but a top to bottom change, a modification, a evolution, if you will. So don't expect that these bad games won't continue to happen here or there. They'll become less frequent. I have full faith in that. And I expect that in the future it will be Roma scoring 4 goals and the other team getting blown out and mocked away from their home stadium. So there is so much hope. We see that Roma still has to gel Wijnaldum and Zaniolo, two players who are extremely important to Roma. Now, of course, you could say that compared to Udinese's squad, it's not a justification. It's just to point out that Roma doesn't have their best players, and they will continue to get better and gel. And of course, chemistry takes time. It's not just you get a couple of good players, and suddenly they start to play good. No. But one thing I did learn from that match is just how important Dybala has become for this team, because he was the one spark. We see that Abraham was having a tough game. He gets replaced by Belotti. The midfield was getting overrun. But I have to say that if that error doesn't happen, that collective effort, of course, Karsdorp makes the individual effort, but if there's not that collectivity of it all, that should have never gone. Pereira should have never been able to swing that cross in and have such a dangerous play. And he was doing a really good job against Spinazzola. He ended up having a really crazy goal and an assist at the fourth. He may have had 2 goals, and the last assist was his, actually. He was relentless, 31-year-old. It's hard to imagine that he's still putting out those types of top performances. But just the point here is that Roma will tend to figure these things out. These individual battles will be pushed to the side, I think, in the future. Once Roma really gets a handle on what they are going to be able to put out formation-wise, player choice, all of that. And we see also Juventus struggling this week. Napoli gets back to playing some decent type of football. Milan wins the Derby della Madonnina. And guess who's at the top of the table? Atalanta. So it's showing you that each team has had their ups and downs, and Roma is nothing special of that. They're not exempt from that. So I like that this season is condensed because it allows you... I can't stand waiting a week or 10 days before there's another match, because if I see a mistake or something bad, I want it corrected immediately. And this season, in particular with the World Cup, gives Roma the chance to do that. So it was a slew of games in such short amount of time. And now we see Ludogorets coming up on Thursday. It's a trip up to Bulgaria, so close to Romania on the northeastern border of the country here. And Ludogorets is an interesting side. Formed in 1945, they actually weren't historically an incredible team, but now they've won 11 championships in a row for the Bulgarian First Division. In 2010, they were bought out by a pharmaceutical entrepreneur, and he was determined to take them to the big times. But they've had their problems as well. They were eliminated from the Champions League again by Dinamo Zagreb. This past weekend, they won 6-0, though, just referring to my notes here. They do have a star striker, that's Kirill Despodov. So that being, the Bulgarian champs, they do have plenty of European experience under their belt. You don't know what you're going to get. It's easy to write this off. I think that going into the match against Udinese, I was overconfident as well. I didn't really invest enough time learning about Andrea Sotil and how his team played, but what I found was an explosive side there. So you don't know completely what you're going to get. This is a team which is built to win, one that is built for European competition, whether it's Champions League, Europa League, whatever. I'm sure that they want to go win this. I'll read you some names here. Sluga, Cicinho, Gropper, Verdon, Nedyalkov, Piotrowski, Rick, Yordanov, Tekpetey, Thiago, Despodov. Names I'm really not familiar with. I was reading up about Cicinho, and I was like, is that the Cicinho that I know? No, it's not, actually. It is another Brazilian who's been naturalized Bulgarian and actually plays for the Bulgarian national team now. You'll see that sometimes, especially in the Eastern European countries, the Brazilians doing that. More to Roma's lineup here. It's looking like Svilar might get the start. This is the projected lineup from Sportsmole. I'm not sure I'm buying that, regardless of Rui Patricio's mistakes that he had on Sunday. I just don't completely see Svilar getting the start, but it would be pretty cool. Back three again. Mourinho has said in his post presser that he's not ready to move to a back four. Mancini, Smalling, Ibanez, and then across we will probably see Celik take over from Karsdorp. Camara maybe gets his first start in Giallorossi. Cristante besides him, and Zalewski on the left, and I think that's the right call there. Spinazzola looking really out of sorts, I would say, against Pereira, who got so much of the better of him. You know what? I just want to rewind. When Roma has to press, it doesn't really fit into their game plan the way that you had imagined. I don't think anyone thought that Vlahovic would get a second-minute goal, that Udinese would score in the second minute. I'm even blanking out. Udogie scored in that one, and just ruining the fact of that now. Up top, you will probably see some combination of Pellegrini, El Shaarawy, Belotti. I'm thinking El Shaarawy on the left, where he most naturally plays. Pellegrini dropping a little bit further back, the way that Dybala has in many occasions this season. And I want to see how the three of them combine. Three Italians there up top. So actually, that would be that's 5 Italians in the starting lineup. Mancini, Zalewski, who actually plays for Poland, but he's born in Italy. Pellegrini, El Shaarawy, and Belotti. So that's very interesting to me. It's time for Belotti to start, especially after Abraham has had his struggles, finding himself into the match. Belotti has, I think, a lot of motivation here. I think he's really ready for the start. And if he can get a goal away at a tricky stadium, a tricky travel, and come away with a win here, it would be very good to get back on the trot, right? And it's little steps. I think that's the theme in this shorter preview of today, is that it's just going to be little ups and downs. Sometimes you're going to go to Udine and a tough stadium to play at, and you're going to lose. And a match that you didn't expect to. But, the comeback has to be greater than the setback. Let's see. Forza Roma.